A very good evening to all our students joining today, the fourth day of Manage Exam Stress. Really glad that so many of you have kept with us on this journey. And we are sure that the techniques that you've been sharing so far have been really helpful to you. You know, we've been talking so much about various topics such as stress, developing courage, developing resilience. Today we'll be talking about time. And while it's very important to understand these topics and utilize the knowledge that we gain by this in a wise way, what's really going to help you are the techniques. That is the meditation, the relaxation, the left nostril breathing. And today we'll be learning a new technique that's going to help you even more. So it's important to understand all the factors that go into us managing our stress very effectively. And what is the real practical approach? Because many times people say, "Arey, tension mat le, don't be stressed," you know, but no one tells you how not to be stressed. So we are actually sharing the practical tips with you, and more than whatever we're learning here, that is really the thing that is going to help you to reduce your stress and really be efficient. So I'm very happy that you all have joined in and are continuing to be with us in this journey called Manage Exam Stress. Today we have a very prolific speaker and someone who we are very happy has agreed to join us today. Let me introduce him to everybody. We have with us Mr. Shrikant Annavarapu. Uh, he's done his B.Tech from IIT Kharagpur. He has done his MS in mining from University of Arizona, USA, and his PhD as well in mining itself. His experience is he's a mining engineer, he's a consultant, he's a teacher, he's a mentor for the past 40 years, and he's been a heartfulness trainer for the past 17 years. His skills, he has mentioned here that he's innovative and he has done innovations in engineering and even mentoring. And so we are really, really honored and happy that he's with us here today. Sir, without wasting any more time, I request you to take the session further from here. So I'll be handing over the reins of the session to you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anjali, for that wonderful introduction. And I'm just trying to get my screen up and ready. Here we go. Okay. Host has disabled screen sharing. So please
sorry. I'll just
allow me to share my screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. In just a second, we will start. Okay, so good evening, students, and really a very warm welcome to all of you. I know that exams are one of the most stressful things, not just in India, everywhere around the world. The minute you say exam, everybody gets stressed. And the stress is because we don't know how to manage our time. We don't know how to manage our time before the exam and after the exam. And most importantly, during the exam. Okay, so let me give you a few tips on time management. And some of the things that you will learn here are extremely valuable before the exams, and some tips during the exams also. Okay, and of course, as Anjali Bapat has just told you, that the important things that you learn here are not just the tools of stress management and time management, but more importantly, the tools that we provide you for relaxation, for meditation. And today we'll do a session on cleaning. And I'll explain briefly to you, before I end the session, I'll explain briefly to you why that cleaning helps in reducing our exam stress. Okay, so without much ado, let's get into this presentation on time management. And what I'll do today is present briefly to you some of the techniques. Okay, so one of the most important things to recognize, of course, is that time is our most precious resource. And why is it so? Why do we say that time is our most precious resource? We say it because you can get more money, but you cannot get more time. Every day, you're getting given a certain number of hours, a certain number of minutes, a certain number of seconds, and that is all you have. इसके अलावा हम लोग टाइम को पैदा नहीं कर सकते हैं. हम लोग कमा लेंगे, पैसे कमा लेंगे, we can earn money, but we can certainly not earn time. Okay, so that's why it's a precious resource. So let's do one thing. Let's watch a quick video on what time really is and how it affects us. Okay, so here's the video. Okay, so there were some very key messages that were seen in that short video. Okay, the thing is that you are every day that you're given a certain amount of time, and what you do with that time is in your hands. How you spend that time is in your hands. Okay, and the most important thing is that you are in charge, so you have to use that time wisely, because at the end of the day, you may have activities that you really wanted to do, but you have run out of time. कितनी बार हम लोग एग्जाम में बैठ के नहीं कहते कि अरे यार थोड़ा सा टाइम और रहता तो मैं एग्जाम को क्रैक कर लेता था. Little bit more time and I would have been able to answer one more question and get more marks. Let's not worry about the marks part of it. Let's not think about the importance of the marks. I'm not here to talk to you about that, but I'm here to talk to you certainly about how we can use that time wisely. Okay, now every day we get time into our account, and what I do with that time is important. So I have the opportunity, I have choices. I can spend the time chatting with friends, I can spend the time watching TV, I can spend the time on WhatsApp or other social media. Okay, but it's all up to me. Or I can spend the time studying, or I can spend the time with family doing productive things. It's all up to me. Okay, how do I use that time wisely? How can I plan my day or plan how best to utilize that 86,400 seconds that I'm given every day? There are some simple tools for that as well. And one of the most important tools is writing down, trying to figure out how am I actually spending my time right now? How am I doing it? क्या कर रहा हूं मैं? कितना टाइम मैं सो रहा हूं? कितना टाइम खाने पीने में जाता है? कितना टाइम साइकिल पे ट्यूशन के लिए जाने में लगता है? All those things we can note down and try and figure out how we are spending the time right now, and then figure out how I need to use my time using what are called the to-do lists. I can plan the activities for the day or the week, and I can schedule myself so that I do not have any crowded day or have too many blank days. Okay. The more things I'm able to achieve in a day, the happier I am too. So write down on a sheet of paper or a planner, or whatever you want to do, write down in a diary. These are the tasks I want to complete on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so on and so forth. These are the things that I must complete. These are my goals for this week. Okay. So using a planner like this and being very clear and crisp and precise, I can plan my days, I can plan my weeks, and I can plan my time so that I use it wisely when I'm given the time to do that. When I make a list, the most important thing is to figure out how to prioritize what is important. And here's a short video that talks about the importance of prioritization. Okay, so let's take a look at this video.
There's a well-known story about a university professor who wanted to make a point about how we make the most of our time. The professor stood before his class with some items in front of him. When the class began, without speaking, he picked up a large empty jar and proceeded to fill it with rocks about 2 inches in diameter. He then asked the students if the jar was full. They agreed that it was full. So the professor then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly and watched as the pebbles rolled into the open areas between the rocks. The professor then asked the students again if the jar was full. They chuckled and agreed that it was indeed full this time. The professor picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. The sand filled the remaining open areas of the jar. Now, said the professor, I want you to recognize that this jar signifies your life. The rocks are the truly important things, such as family, health, and relationships. If all else was lost and only the rocks remained, your life would still be meaningful. The pebbles are the other things that matter in your life, such as work or school. The sand signifies the remaining small stuff and material possessions. If you were to put sand into the jar first, there is no room for the rocks or the pebbles. The same can be applied to your lives. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are truly important. Pay attention to the things in life that are critical to your happiness and well-being. Take time to look after your health, play with your children, go for a run, write a letter to your grandmother. There will always be time to go to work, clean the house, or watch TV. Take care of the rocks first. The things that really matter. Set your priorities. The rest is just pebbles and sand.
So here was another important video that talks about the importance of priorities. So these priorities are what make our life. This jar represents our life. The rocks, pebbles, sand, and water are what we have to fill the jar with. ये rocks क्या है? ये pebbles क्या है? Sand क्या है? ये पानी क्या है? What are these things in our lives? Think about it yourself and remember that our priorities, our need for priorities will change as we grow. Right now, your priorities would be your exams, and you know what are the important things you need to do for your exams. Study. Study what? Study those things that you're not familiar with. So let us take this just for the exams right now. So rocks, those things that you need to study, things that you're not strong in. Pebbles, those things that you need to know. You need to fill your study time with all the things that you need to know for your exams. Sand, all the things that you're familiar with, but you just need to refresh still. और ये पानी क्या है? This water is all your distractions. Just imagine all the time that we spend on getting distracted from our studies. So what are those things? And we all know them. It's not that these distractions do not help improve our focus. Sometimes they do. But if we are constantly distracted, or we spend all our time in WhatsApp or Facebook, then we are not leaving enough time for the rocks, which is studying the important things, studying the things that we are weak in. Okay, so it's important to understand. So what I would suggest to all of you, as it is exam time, as it is getting to your exam time, what I would suggest is make a list of things that you need to be ready for your exams. List out all the things that you're already familiar with. List out those things that you need to refresh yourself with. And list out all those distractions that keep you from achieving or completing the tasks which are represented by the rocks, pebbles, and the sand. Okay. It's always good to reflect on how we are doing. And when we reflect, we try to figure out, am I doing everything as per my priorities? So make the list and keep checking against yourself or against that list. Am I accomplishing or am I spending enough time on all the things that are really, really important for my exams? It's always also good to have these affirmations. Okay, these improve our confidence that yes, I'm doing the right thing. I am working towards my goal. I have identified what are the important things in my life at this point of time. What are the important things that I need to do for my exam? The next thing is that I affirm to myself that I will plan my schedule according to my priorities. Okay, so if my priority is कि chemistry में मैं weak हूँ and I need to study on chemistry, I need to spend more time on chemistry, I will make sure that I schedule 1 to 2 hours extra for chemistry every day. Just scheduling is not enough though. You have to act on your plans as well. So let's make an affirmation that after identifying the important things in my life at this point of time, I will plan my schedule according to those priorities that I have identified. And then finally, most importantly, I will act according to the plans that I have made. There's no point making a plan and not following it. Okay. So here are some basic time management tips that we will go through. Number 1, don't be lazy and lethargic. खरगोश ने कहा था कि मेरे पास तो वक्त ही वक्त है, मैं तो कभी भी कछुए को हरा सकता हूँ. The hare always thought that he would win. He thought he had all the time in the world. But the turtle said that, no, you know what, I may be slow, but I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to be just sitting around and wondering what will happen. I will put in my effort. Slowly and steadily, he won the race. Okay? We all remember that story. Buffer time is very, very important. Buffer time helps build better performance. And what is this buffer time? बहुत बार हमने देखा है कि हम लोग अपने टाइम को बहुत पैक कर देते हैं. From 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, I will do my meditation. 7 o'clock to 7:15, I will do my exercise. 7:15 to 7:45, I will have my breakfast. 7:45 to 7:50, I will brush my teeth. 7:50 to 7:52, I will say hello to my father. Arey bhai, if your brushing your teeth gets a little longer or something else changes, then your entire schedule goes for a 6. You're not able to plan your day. You're not able to plan the rest of your day. So keep enough buffer time. Make sure that you schedule enough buffer time so that you can complete each task and then make sure that you have a rest period so that you can recharge yourself. And how do we recharge ourselves? We can recharge ourselves with physical activity, with the right nutrition, and with meditation and relaxation. Physical activity is very, very important. What it does is it releases endorphins in our body, and it helps us focus better. Okay, सारा टाइम अगर हम लोग किताबों के सामने ही बैठे रहें और काम करते रहें, after some time you'll find that your mind is full and you need to do something to increase the capacity of your mind or increase the absorption capacity that you have. Right nutrition is very, very important. सब समय से बैठ के पकोड़े या चिप्स खाते रहने से you're not getting the right nutrition. That right nutrition helps improve the kind of chemicals that are required within your body to help you. Hello. Hello. Okay. So it helps you, in making sure that you have the right amount of energy to do your studies. Meditation and relaxation. If your mind is at peace and if your mind is relaxed, you will find that you're able to absorb more of what you're reading, what you're learning, what you're listening to. Okay? So these three things are very, very important, and these are ways to recharge yourself both physically as well as mentally. Okay, so here are some more tips for you. Number one, we always lose track of time. पढ़ते पढ़ते हम लोग खो जाते हैं और को पता ही नहीं चलता कि कितना time हो गया. Okay, so keep a clock in front of you while you're working or studying. It'll help you keep track of the time that is passing. Okay, so that you can help keep to your schedule. Okay, that's very important. Important events like exams and submission of records on a calendar, very, very important. I've had one student at IIT Kharagpur who he did not remember that he had an exam at a particular time. He thought it was in the afternoon. It was actually in the morning. The result was that he missed the exam and he had to go for a supplementary exam or a repeat exam. Okay. Reminders, small, either small notes or alarms, help you start your task on time and help you finish your task on time as well. Okay. So all these things are helping you keep track of time as that time is passing. Remember, you have only those 86,400 seconds in the day, right? So trying to make sure that you are utilizing that time properly, these are some of the tips that come in handy. Okay. As long as we keep track of time, you will win the race of life. So let's see what these things, what the important tips that we've learned are. Okay. Okay, so in short, we have seen that lost time is never found again. And then we saw some of those beautiful tips for time management. Okay. Most importantly, if we are able to effectively manage our time, we are getting less stressed. So, but let's prioritize our activities. Let us plan the activities in a proper way with adequate buffer time. Let's note the tasks on a calendar and see how much time we are spending on each of the activities. Energize yourselves. Make sure that you get the right kind of nutrition and right kind of activity, physical activity or meditation and relaxation, so that we can be active and use the time wisely. See, when you're in exam hall, especially when you're in examination hall, what happens is that you have a fixed amount of time for the exam, 2 hours or 3 hours. And I have been a student writing the exam, and I have been an invigilator monitoring the students who are writing the exam. And if you see, it is very strange. The student thinks, "Hey, I have only 2 hours and I have to somehow finish this work in these 2 hours." And the professor is saying, well, it's 2 hours, only 15 minutes has passed. There'll be another 45 minutes before I can have a cup of tea. It's the same time, but for the students, it's passing very fast. And for the professor, it's passing very slowly. It's the same time, it's the same number of minutes or seconds. But for one person, it's going slowly. For the other person, it's going very fast. Okay? As a student, when you're writing the exam, learn to first figure out where you want to spend how much time. Those questions that are easy for you, quickly you can finish them off and you can create extra buffer time for those questions which you're not really sure of, where you think that you'll spend a lot more time in writing the answers. Okay? Or wherever you need to think a lot more, that's where you need to pace yourself, make sure that you have adequate time to answer those questions. Building this is a very, very important thing. So we've talked about before the exam, how to prioritize your time, and during the exam, making sure that you space yourself properly through the period of the exam. Most often, the stress that arises in a student during an exam is the ability to recapture the information that they have studied. Okay, and this method of cleaning that we are going to talk to you about today is something that really, really helps in being able to access that information that we have stored. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. The bad news is time flies. Like I said, especially as a student, when you're writing an exam, time absolutely flies. The good news is that you are the pilot, you are in charge. You can schedule yourself to address the time that you need to that you have for the exam. Okay, so that's the important thing. So before I say thank you and get you to do some of the activities, that the cleaning, for example, that we're going to do today. Okay, before I do that, again, I want to reiterate to you the importance of cleaning and what cleaning does. What cleaning basically does is removes the baggage associated with events. Okay, so you have studied, you have got a lot of information in your head. Along with that, there are things that have happened during the day, some things that have been good, something that have been not been good. All those things act as blockers for that time that you have. Okay, all those things distract you when you're working on your exam, when you're studying for your exam. All these things tend to take away that precious time, along with social media, along with other things that are going on in your life. These baggages reduce the time that's available for you to take care of the rocks and pebbles. Okay, and what we do in this cleaning is to sit quietly in the evening and give ourselves a thought that all the impurities and complexities of life are leaving you from behind your back. Okay, and once those are leaving you, what is happening then is your ability to access information that you have stored in your head for the exam, your ability to access that becomes faster. It's almost as if सेल फोन का जब कैशे क्लियर कर देते हैं तो सेल फोन ज्यादा तेजी से इंफॉर्मेशन एक्सेस कर पाता है. उसी हिसाब से, in the same way, we can use this cleaning methodology to remove the unnecessary cache that is consuming our energies and use that for productive use in our exam study or in the exam itself. Okay, so I'm going to lead you now through the process that we follow for cleaning. So I'd like all of you to gently close your eyes. Gently close your eyes. Relax. Give a thought that all the impurities and complexities are leaving you from behind your back. All impurities and complexities are leaving you from behind your back in the form of smoke or vapor. All impurities and complexities are leaving you from behind your back in the form of smoke or vapor. The smoke or vapor is leaving you from the base of your neck to the base of your spine and all from the entire back. What is it that smoke and vapor is not important? It's just impurities and complexities that have gathered throughout the day. All those things are leaving you. While these impurities are leaving you, you are feeling light. You are feeling pure. And you are feeling simple. While these impurities and complexities are leaving you, it's creating a light vacuum inside of you. Imagine that from the front, divine light is entering your heart and filling that vacuum. It's a two-way process. All the impurities and complexities are leaving you from behind your back. And at the same time, divine lightness is entering your heart from the front. Continue this process till you feel light and simple and pure. Feel the lightness in your heart and gently turn your attention to your heart. And start meditation.
That's all. Keep your eyes closed and take a few moments to think about what you just experienced during meditation. How were you feeling before? What happened during meditation? And most importantly, how are you feeling now? Take a few seconds to think about all these things. When you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes. Make a note in your journal how you're feeling. It's very important to make a note in your journal about your experience during meditation. Shrikant sir, would you like to say something to round off the session?
Sure. Students, you should be feeling refreshed after the session of cleaning and meditation. And as you continue with this process of cleaning and meditation, you'll find yourself finding more and more energy to do the things that you really need to do. And that at this stage is concentrate on your studies. Not just that, the amount of time that you will be able to study and the amount of retention that you will have after meditation and cleaning will be significantly improved. That means that your studies will be more effective. We did a experiment on students in IIT Kharagpur, and with a very short, paragraph, we realized that just doing the relaxation and the meditation improved the retention capacity of the students. Okay, and this was done part of a study, research study that we had done in Kharagpur. So try it and see how much of a difference it makes in how effectively you can study, how effectively you can retain information, and how effectively you can get back that information during your exams. Okay, all the very, very best to all of you. I know that you will all do very well. Thank you very much and enjoy your exams. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shrikant sir, for joining us today and telling us some live examples and which have actually worked. And that validates everything we've been saying, isn't it? So,
Yes.
yes, so here's a quote actually about time that I have no yesterday, time took them away. I have tomorrow may not be, but I still have today. So let me do what I can with the now. And yes, I hope you've recorded your observations in your diary. And thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you will all join us tomorrow again for the final session of Manage Exam Stress. Tomorrow also we have a very, very special speaker. I'm sure you'll tremendously enjoy tomorrow's session as well. Our topic is discipline, because that's something we struggle with a lot, isn't it? That we know what is to be done, but somehow we struggle to actually put it into practice. So tomorrow's session will be learning more about that. So please do join, and looking forward to seeing all of you again tomorrow. Thank you once again, Shrikant sir, for joining us for
Thank you.
today's session. Yes, thank you very, very much. So with that, my dear audience members, I'll bid you good evening, and I hope you have a very nice evening ahead. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Goodbye.